Here is AIPAC boasting about the fact that every single candidate that has been funded by them during this primary cycle and during special elections have won. And this makes sense considering you can predict who wins an election in this country at around a 95% rate based on who has the most money. This is what capitalist dictatorship looks like. This is why AIPAC plans on spending over $100 million to unseat anyone who is mildly critical of their genocide of the Palestinian people. Is this the democracy that liberals claim they are fighting so hard to defend? These motherfuckers were trying to convince us that Russia was trying to hijack our election for posting cringe social media memes. Meanwhile, we have AIPAC giving Democrats millions of dollars to support their genocide that is opposed by the majority of their own party. And these liberals don't even blink an eye. The revolving corruption is truly sickening. Politician runs on giving billions of dollars of unconditioned aid and support to Israel. You know, Israel that has free healthcare and free education? Yeah, we pay for that. After fighting for Israel harder than they fight for their constituents, AIPAC and Zionists then reward said politician with a ton of cash, keeping them in power forever. Then said politician votes to send unconditioned aid to Israel forever. Rinse and repeat. With that said, you guys want to know who took the most AIPAC cash of all time? Genocide Joe Biden. Now do you guys see why Joe Biden was a senator for 40 years and ended up the president of the United States? Our democracy have been completely hijacked by Zionists. They just give you the illusion of choice.
It's true. We are aliens. But what are you going to do about it? It's a two-party system. You have to vote for one of us.
Right, this is a two-party system. Well, I believe I'll vote for a third-party candidate.
Go ahead. Throw your vote away.
I still call myself a socialist with a hyphen. I'm still a follower of the late and great Mr. Tony Benn, the best prime minister we never had. But I really don't like being called of the left anymore, because for me, the left has become synonymous with liberalism, small L liberalism, and I'm actually not all that liberal. I treat everyone as they would wish to be treated. I was a pioneer, for example. I got a Stonewall Award for parliamentary heroism in my stance for the rights of gay people, for example. I don't let anyone describe me as any of the ists and isms that they throw. I mean, I get called a racist, even though I've got 5 mixed-race children, and I've represented more people of color in the British Parliament than anyone in history. This tendency of liberals who like to think of themselves as the left to call everyone one step to the right of them a fascist, to blame anyone who gets their syntax or their pronouns wrong as other kinds of ists and isms. This is the reason why I actually cringe when I am described as left-wing. I stand for the workers. I'm the leader of the Workers' Party. I fight for the rights of the workers and their families, and I'm content with that. But what I am is a visceral opponent of bullying, whether it is bullying on a domestic scale, a national scale, or an international scale. And if I see someone being bullied, I'll run to the side of the victim and stand with them. What's happened is there's been a bizarre outbreak of cross-dressing, so that the people on the left support the FBI and the CIA and the surveillance state and banning opponents from standing in elections and so on.
What's poppin'? My friends, my family. Welcome. We have another edition of Nick at Noon. Nick at Noonish, if you're on the East Coast, it's Nick at Noon. We got another bang. You already know. We already got people in the chat. You already know it's gonna be a banger. I also heard tales of a banger that is about to be produced. You already know. I had to bring the crew today. We got our boy Jose Vega that about to be joining us. Our man challenging power, challenging Zionists directly. Him and his people, they got Democrats nervous. They got security apparatuses checking and make sure Jose Vega's people don't show up and disrupt their bullshit speeches. We also have our great friend, comrade Misty, who's been killing the game. That has a great radio show, also do great stuff for Julian Assange. And you guys here, before I get Jose Vega in there, we got to introduce him very soon. You guys see, this is why I've been saying I despise liberalism, especially after what you've seen in Gaza. I've seen progressives. I saw this tweet. Let me see if I can pull it up, actually, because it sums up liberalism in a nutshell. I didn't have it saved, but I can find it. Where, during Biden's absolutely unhinged State of the Union address, the State of the Union that AOC liked, she gave a standing applause during the whole thing. I can't describe Joe Biden's State of the Union speech as anything other than pro-war, fascist. Like, he's declaring never-ending conflict. So you have an address that millions of people are going to watch. And what's the first thing that he talks about? He talks about another country across the fucking ocean funding Nazis in Ukraine, which is, I'm going to ask my guest about that as well. Our friend Jose Vega have been calling this out. Yes, I found it. Look, this is liberalism in a nutshell. And this is what George Galloway was talking about. Liberalism is this. Oh, we got Misty here. What's popping? I'm going to introduce my guest here very soon. On Thursdays, we wear white for reproductive freedom. You mean that reproductive freedom that you guys lost under Democratic Party control? Joe Biden, that was Joe Biden. But that aside, we are supposed to care about this shit and liberal social issues as you guys are committing a genocide in Gaza. So we care about reproductive freedom as we commit a genocide in Gaza where mothers are forced to have C-sections without anesthesia. My friends, because of the policies that this hag in this picture supports, Nancy Pelosi, mothers are forced to go without food so they can delay the inevitable of their children starving to death. We're going to cover how aid to UNRWA was cut because UNRWA staff was tortured by Israel. It was torture to obtain confessions. The United States and the West cut aid, and now we have a famine in Gaza. But these liberals are talking about reproductive health. Children being forced to go through horrific surgeries, amputees without anesthesia. But you guys are talking about reproductive health. I said this before, I'm saying it again. I am sorry, but I am not sorry. This is absolutely not the time for culture wars. Absolutely not the time for that. People floating the idea of voting for the Democratic Party to make suburban moms and women comfortable who support Democrats while there's a genocide going on. That's liberalism. That's the liberalism that George Galloway was talking about here, that we despise. One more thing I'm going to show, and I'm going to introduce my guest. CJ covered this, so I'm not going to play a lot of this video. You see, the most dangerous thing in the Western Hemisphere is liberalism. And the reason I'm showing this because
against the regime.
The
anti-Semitism charge
has my viral tweet here.
So the liberals have fallen back on what they do best, weaponizing vague feelings. The main objection to rallies for Palestine now is that it makes people feel uncomfortable or unsafe on college campuses in the West. Here's an example that's been making the rounds online.
I'm going to let him finish his thought, but look at that there. This is what I've been telling you people for quite some time. And this is I'm gonna show you guys this clip where they're using anti-Semitism to roll back free speech rights. That's coming up now. That's free speech right. That's why I'm glad to have Misty on the show. I can't wait to hear her opinion on that. Yeah, the quote unquote free speech right is now rolling back our rights. Why? Because of white women Zionist tears. The most dangerous weapon in the world right now. White women Zionist tears enabled the death of 100 to 200,000 people. We're not using the 30,000 number no more. But sorry, I need to get my guests in here. I'm gonna play this last part, and then we wrap up with the intro.
We want him dead. Please end it, please.
Aside from the fact that those are the most obvious fake tears you've ever seen, I want you to think about the absurdity of this display. Claiming to feel unsafe in your insular little university versus this.
مين بدك مين بدك؟
أمي مع أخويا.
طيب أنت إيش؟
أخويا أبو نسر
That's what unsafe looks like. You feel uncomfortable? Think about how uncomfortable it is to have no food or clean water. No, aside from the fact.
Well said. Let's get our guests in here. We have our good friend Jose Vega. We have our great ranting buddy and honorary RBN member, our great friend Comrade Misty. What's poppin', my friends?
Hi, fellas.
Howdy.
Great.
Thanks for having me on. I was scared to come on because when I first announced my candidacy, Rome messaged me and said, I got tough questions for you if you're not scared. And I said to him, I'm more afraid of you than anyone I've ever confronted. So
and that says a lot because our brother Jose been confronting real gangsters. I'm talking about people who have body counts.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a body count, my friends. You confront people with body counts. I'm interested to see what questions Rome has for you. I have a few questions. It's very interesting to see someone who is willing to put in risk because you got like a target on your head. They know who you are. Okay.
Yeah, they do.
So actually, I'm gonna introduce this topic this way because I had Misty on the show. We talk about this behind the scenes all the time. I have a very loose outline for today because there's a lot to talk about.
Listen, I came to the conclusion that I'm the problem, and I'm sorry because I went on Due Dissidence, and it also went off the rails and went way longer than he intended. And I'm like, it's me. It's me. I'm the problem. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I do the same thing with my guests as well.
I'm not going to rant.
Let's start out with this, and I'm going to get into the anti-Semitism free speech crackdown because I'm asking you about that as well. Why do you decide to run? What is your overall theory of change, and why do you think this call to action was important for you to take?
Okay, all right. It's interesting you put me on with Misty because I know Misty hates electoral politics.
I do. I love you, Jose. You know I love you. You know I love you. But...
So if it makes you feel better, Jose, you're the only one. You're the only person run for office who I actually invited on.
Oh,
and I was like, oh shit, I forgot Jose run for office. I went. Well, I'm like, oh yeah, Jose is running for office because I explained before, and I'll pass it to you, Jose. I explained before, despite how butthurt Cornball West is, despite how butthurt Marianne Wilson and her supporters have been after our criticism, how we handled our interview, they are the one who asked to come on RBN. I never asked those people to come on. Cornell West reached out to me, not the other way around. But Jose, and I think Jose is like the first politician I reached out, person who run out to say who I reached out to. So since you are running, I breached the topic because we got a lot of things I want to talk about. But since you're running, this is a big giant elephant in the room. So I want to hear your theory of change, and what's your and why you decided to run.
Well, first of all, electoral politics is disgusting. I've had this come to Jesus moment where I realized like it is prostitution, right? I love Dennis Kucinich, I do. But when you listen to the way he talks on like Fox News, he was on Fox News to react to the State of the Union address. He's saying all the moderate things, right, to try and appeal to win. He's trying to win an election, right? He's like an old school politician. And then meanwhile, I'm on Kim Iverson's show and I'm like, fuck this, fuck Biden, everything sucks. Richie can suck my, like I'm like I have no decorum, and the reason is because I'm not necessarily trying to win, because for one, I don't think you can win in New York State because the history of corruption just runs so deep. I mean, he has like a $5 million, Richie Torres has a $5 million war chest, for him to be reelected. And so what I'm doing with my campaign, and the reason I ran is because I don't see anybody else challenging Richie Torres. I think he should be out of there. I mean, yeah, I would like to, be the congressman instead of him. But overall, what we're doing here in the Bronx is we are going to subvert the idea of what it means to be an electoral candidate and electoral, in an electoral race. I'm not going to tell people, okay, well, when I win, we will. And when I win, no, it's like, what are we going to do between today and next week? What are we actually going to get done? Right? Not even just to support my campaign, but to actually get one step closer to a ceasefire, or one step closer to making sure that Assange doesn't get extradited. I mean, like we're doing, real action. And so I've started a campaign. Yeah, there you go. I've started a campaign called Guerrilla Warfare for Truth in the Bronx. I want to make sure that, it becomes redefined what it means to be from the Bronx. It is the poorest congressional district in the country. And I want it to be so that everybody here is calling for some kind of real solution to fix the Bronx, redevelopment in the Bronx. I mean, that's the best I can do. I'm not promising people to win. And I'm using the fact that it's an electoral year, and I'm using the fact that Richie Torres is such an asshole and everyone hates him, that I think we can actually get this rising tide of solidarity between everyone. For example, Michigan had this uncommitted vote. Minnesota had 20% of its people do uncommitted. Our expression of the uncommitted vote in New York City is going to be to put me on the ballot. I need 2,700 signatures to get on the ballot between April 16th and May 28th. What if we got 100,000? Like, really blow that out of the water, right? That's our uncommitted vote. Therefore, people aren't signing to get me on the ballot. They're signing as a way of saying we don't want a genocide enabler in office. That's my idea behind this campaign. And there's more, but I think I'll stop there and take questions.
I ask this of everyone. Do you plan on telling people to vote for Joe Biden?
No.
Okay, so
no.
That's my number. I have to ask that question if I'm going to be honest. I knew the answer. I have to ask it though, because I explain to people as a revolutionary, as someone who also is trying to understand the science on how to start a revolution. And Misty, I'll bring you in here very soon. I am trying to explain to people, and this is what I best understand based on studying revolution, based on seeing what we are up against. We need to understand that we have multiple tools at our disposal. Mutual aid is a tool in which we can use. In my state, ballot initiatives is a tool in which we can use. YouTube is a tool in which we can use. It's a tool we can use to educate and inspire revolutionary energy. That's what we try to produce, revolutionary energy. I will strongly speak out against electoral politics if it's used to siphon revolutionary energy. That's why I asked that question, even though it sounds dumb, even though it sounds obvious what your question would be, because this is why I'm critical of Marianne Williamson when she ran. It's obvious she's here to siphon revolutionary energy. RFK is here to siphon the anti-war revolutionary energy and give it back to the Zionists. I am assessing what are you doing to the revolution? What are you doing to the working class? If you're using electoral politics as a tool to advance the revolution, to advance the material conditions of the people, to engage in mutual aid, engage in the left, engage in active protests and resisting against the state, I can only see that as a good thing. I hope you follow the right path, because even though you're our friend, we got to make sure we hold you accountable as someone who
I will fucking come for you, Jose. I will fucking come for you.
I think if I was to pick someone to run, I think you're someone who's obviously a leader. You know what I mean? You organizing these protests against the ruling class, so you have a lot of potential. We just hope that you make sure you continue to follow along that path. But Misty, I'll pass to you for your thoughts, And Jose, I'll get you back in here after I get Misty in here as well for anything you want to add to the conversation.
Well, everyone knows I hate electoral politics. That's not a secret. I'm pretty upfront about that. But like Nick just said, like if you're going to use, and I've said this before, if you're going to run for office and you're going to be honest with people and say, listen, I don't have a chance in hell of winning this thing. They're going to rig it against me. We don't have fair elections. But if you just do it to flip some tables and punch some people in the face, I'm down for that. I mean, I don't know to what extent it's going to matter. You're not going to get a lot of media coverage. You're not going to get, it's going to be very difficult to get outside of our bubble any attention because they're going to do everything that they can to shut that down and silence you. But I'm not mad that you're running because you're being honest with people. You're telling people that, listen, there's very little chance I'm going to win this thing. I'm doing it anyways because it gives me a chance to call out Richie Torres and to bring some attention to issues that need attention and things like that. So, I mean, I'm down for that. Like, I would just be mindful of the fact that there is going to be a lot of opportunities for you to be corrupted coming your way. And I'm not joking when I say I'll come for you. You know I will. If you start selling yourself out, I'm going to be the first person to call you out on it, just so you know. It's like I told Christina Levo, we were in DC for an Assange action and she was running for Congress, I think Congress in Florida. And I told her live on air, I'm like, listen, I like you as a person. I've met you. We've talked. I think you're great. But as a politician, I will always give you the side eye every single time. I will always be skeptical of you. I will always question you and doubt you. And she got it. And I think that's just what it is. Like, I love you. I consider you a friend, but I am going to be hypercritical of you.
Well, you absolutely should. And first of all, you're not the first. None of you guys are the first, actually, because when I call people who sign up to volunteer on my site or who have donated, I call them and they tell me the same thing. Like, listen, like, I want to trust in you. I want to believe in you. But how can we be sure you're not going to be like an AOC? How can we be sure you're not going to be like this or that? And well, what I want to say is I'm going to throw a big wrench in here because I know this, like, the biggest contention that people have about me is the fact that I'm associated with the LaRouche movement. And, I know that this is like the third rail of politics. You bring up that name and then like instantly like people on the left get turned off. And I'm here to say I'm not here to recruit anybody to the movement. And the reason that this thing is going to keep me honest is because I could have hidden from it. I could have publicly denounced that. I could have said I'm not associated with them anymore. But that would be lying because I want to come off strong by saying I'm going to be honest and genuine about my history. And I think it's the strongest thing about me because Lyndon LaRouche himself has been slandered and lied about. He was thrown in jail by Henry Kissinger. There are FBI letters that Henry Kissinger wrote to get Lynn into jail. And the problem was they didn't have the internet at the time to talk about it. Now, that's a whole other thing. But I'm saying that to say people want to know if I'm honest. Yeah, because why the hell would I bring this up knowing that this thing can like push people away? But that is who I am. And I'm just being honest. Now, secondly, I wanted to bring up this. There's an article I put in the private chat. I can't talk about this too much because of legal matters, but the New York Post made it public. An Israeli businessman choke slammed one of my staffers, and this happened at late January, and that's the New York Post. Don't allow ads. There we go.
No, fuck the New York Post.
yeah. Okay, so first
of
all,
the website is horrible, bro. Bro, like, what the fuck? Do they want people not to read this shit?
Nobody should be reading this shit.
Anyway,
so I can't say too much because of legal reasons. The DA is still involved in this, but Simon Miller was passing out, that he's the guy who's named in the article, was passing out a leaflet with the names of the 200 some congressmen who signed the letter to Blinken saying that the South Africa case is disgusting, right? So we called it the Congressional Wall of Shame. And then this IDF turns out to be a former IDF soldier, right, who's now an Israeli businessman, just came up from behind him and choke slammed him. Simon didn't even see it coming. So, that's all I can say on this right now.
A Zionist is a coward? I can't imagine.
Shocking.
So, they got a pretty big problem right now, but I just thought I would throw this in there because like we're already getting kind of attacked out here just for being us, just for
Do they mention you in this article or do they avoid you?
Oh, they avoid it. They avoid it. You know why? They say
That's what I'm talking
they
about.
mention the leaflet, which has like our campaign on it, and it says like, oh, we weren't sure what the leaflet was, but it was probably something anti-Semitic. Like that's what it says in the article.
Great journalism, New York Post. Really killing it out there, guys.
We'll have more updates on that when the video, because they have NYPD surveillance video that isn't public yet, and that's all I can say for now. So
are you still going to continue to interrupt people and go and do the thing that the thing that you're good at? Because I would love to see you.
It's gonna alienate. Of course, I'm gonna do that, Misty. God.
Okay, good. Good. Because that was another concern that I had. Like, is he gonna like mellow out because he's running for office and he wants to, make the right impression? No. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
absolutely.
Thanks.
I'm gonna keep.
That makes me happy.
The problem is we've been looking at where to do them, and they've like upped the security. Like they're screening people before you go in. So one of the things I want to do is get people in the Bronx to go do them for me, so that like if I can't get in, at least people can wear my hat or something as they do it.
Yeah.
How's that legal? I asked this question many times.
It should
almost every single time I cover this. Every single time I cover these stories, how is it legal that politicians can silence
screen people?
Yeah, screen people.
Did you see the video, the Kamala Harris video, where the two women in hijabs were out there and they were like, "No, you can't come in." Like they went through got tickets, all that stuff, and they're like, "Oh no, you're not coming in." What kind of shit is that? Like, are you serious right now? But it's not surprising. They don't want to be challenged, right? And it made me laugh, the AOC thing, because she's the one that was like, "Oh, we got to make politicians uncomfortable. We got to go out there and we got to, call them out." And then somebody calls her out and she cries like a bitch. Like, you're not separate and special, homegirl. Like, you get to be challenged too, especially when you're as vile as you are. So yeah, it's not surprising. Not surprising.
Yeah, anything want to add, Jose, before I move on?
I guess the donations that have been coming in have not been used to pay me a whole lot of money, because for one, I can't legally pay myself on the campaign more than whatever I made last year, and I only made like $20,000. The poverty line here in New York is $34,000, so I work part-time at a coffee shop. The donations have been going towards reprinting campaign material like, the Congressional Wall of Shame, stickers that we have putting up, which we want people to put up everywhere, graffiti. We're working on a new design now that says something like Richie Torres likes to eat babies. And so we want to get the money to print those up too. So if people would like to donate $1, well, I think the minimum you could donate is $3. But if people would like to, please go ahead. But more importantly, honestly, if you're in New York City and you're in anywhere in the city, your time is much more valuable to me than the money. If you want to come and get into some good trouble with us, I have heard rumors that some people are working on stencils and spray painting, which I don't endorse or condone. But if you want to join that and do it on your own time away from me, and you want to come to the Bronx, yeah.
So
Love it.
We can move on, because once again, I invited you on, and then I was like, "Oh shit!" When you messaged me, we were talking before, like, "Oh yeah, he is running for office," because I decided to reach out to you because all the rise of protests, and obviously you're a friend of the show, so I feel like we need to broach the topic. At the end of the day, guys, I don't take electoral politics that seriously.
No,
so I'm more issues orientated, guys. I go after people who are wrong on the issues.
Yeah.
Cornball was caught praising a white supremacist.
And it's still not backing down. I mean, it's amazing.
The Jimmy Dore plantation. He's not backing down.
We're on the Jimmy Dore plantation.
He condemned Hamas.
Boy, we got under his skin. Dude,
it was
Tim
Black. It was the video me and Misty did. After the video me and Misty did, that was when.
And you were nice. Like, I went hard, but you were nice. I'm not friends with him. He didn't come to me asking to be on my show. Not that I would have him on anyway, but I did not. You were nice.
He condemned Hamas. Yeah. Condemned Hamas, praised Navalny. So you guys see how I'm issues orientated? We are good until you get the issues wrong.
Yeah.
And when you get the issues wrong, then we got a problem, because you got to explain why you're getting it wrong to me. Like on the PNC class, oh, come on, we got disagreements. No, it's okay we have disagreements, but you got to explain to me why you're praising Alexei Navalny. you gotta explain to me why you're condemning Palestinian resistance. So to me, issues are the most important. To me, in this era, we in a new era, like that LaRoche shit, I don't give a fuck. Some people are gonna get mad at me, some people are gonna click this right now. I don't honestly give a fuck. We have fucking World War III and the genocide right now. You guys talking about a historical figure? I don't give a fuck. I honestly don't give a fuck. Are you for war or are you against war? Are you for the capitalist class or are you against the capitalist class? We're in the year 2024. Motherfuckers act like politics is still 2009. People still act like it's 2014. People still talking about LaRouche. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't give a fuck.
Like we got bigger fish to fry. Really? That's what we're arguing about?
I would also like to think that people would judge me on my actions, like what I've been doing and what I've been saying, for the last since I've been on the scene now for
like 2 better years. Than that. That's not how it works.
But I know
people don't judge you. People like for me, I get a lot of shit because I talk to people on the right, and so people and me, oh my, she has friends who are on the right. Oh my god, it's so ridiculous. But that they don't give a shit. People don't care. Yeah. It's very superficial.
I remember the last thing you wanted to say on the thing was just that George Galloway's victory proves that you can do something on a Gaza platform, that people don't want to see a genocide. That was
in the UK. In the UK. Their elections are a little less fucked. They're still fucked, but they're a little less fucked. And plus, he's George Galloway.
That's true.
I mean, no offense to you, but he's George fucking Galloway. He's been around for fucking decades. He has a solid record of being consistent on these issues. So no offense to you, but you're no George Galloway, Jose. You know what I mean? So, and it's a UK election, totally different than a US election. Totally different.
All right. Well, it seems like I just need to get his endorsement. That's all.
Yeah, if you can. I'm sure that might help.
Before we move on to Joe Biden's unhinged State of the Union address, because I was live, Nick, at 9. You guys know I go live every Tuesday and Thursday evening. I appreciate you guys writing the schedule down because we know the algorithm not helping us. We got 1,200 live viewers across platforms. Rumble is popping. I mean, not Rumble, but X. I don't trust those numbers, bro. I be seeing our numbers on X. I'm like, bro, I don't think that's real. Like, I don't know if these numbers are real.
I know Rumble numbers are weird. Rumble numbers.
Yeah, I will 100% admit this when I talk about X numbers. I think at least a half of these motherfuckers I'm very skeptical of because they've been showing us like having 1,000 live viewers on X. I don't believe that, to be honest. But anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the show, whether you're real or not. I'm gonna cover this briefly. This anti-Semitism story I had in the pocket for a while, and I want to cover this because we just mentioned this. I had a lot of topics I wanted to talk to you about. That's why I invited you on. The campaign to me is like another point, not even that important to me, to be honest, because it's not my district. I think people need to understand politics is more local, my friends. Like you gotta be worried about what's going on in your local politics. I'm more interested in Jose as a thought leader, as someone who put pressure on the ruling class, and he just so happened to be running locally. That's good. It gives a lot of local people option. But let's focus on the issues now. So we're gonna talk about Joe Biden's unhinged pro-war fascist speech, but we're gonna show you guys how both sides are using this quote-unquote anti-Semitism to crack down free speech. I mentioned this earlier. This is the build-up to this. I have become traumatized. Jewish students describe campus anti-Semitism, and what they are actually talking about are people who actually are against genocide, people who speak out against genocide. Those are the people that they are trying to pretend are anti-Semitic, and they are doing this not for like they've been doing this ever since the beginning of October 7th. In print media, New York Times, Washington Post, on both sides of the duopoly, on Fox News, on MSNBC and CNN. You guys know how many propaganda reports I have done covering this anti-Semitism psyop? I told you guys a few months ago that they was building towards something. You can't roll this out immediately, my friend. Misty, didn't we talk about that? Mm-hmm. You can't
I've been talking about it for years. Yep.
You know what I mean? You can't just fucking go all out pro-authoritarian, no lube with no warm-up. You know what I mean?
This has been in the works for decades, really. But really, the past 15, 20 years, it's been escalated quite a bit. And this is
I want to give you guys thoughts on this. Misty, we can start with you. But I'll play this clip because this is what it leads to. Now, these are the people on the right, I have done propaganda reports for CNN, MSNBC, and I did mostly Fox News on this because I want to show you guys all the right-wing grifters that me and Misty been calling out that have been pretending that they are for free speech have been full of shit, and they always been full of shit.
Yep.
You guys notice that all the free speech champions, they are avoiding this topic. I ain't seen Russell Brand talk about this. I ain't seen none of these people that cozying up with these right-wing grifters covering this story about how the right wing is folding on this. Glenn Greenwald has. Glenn Greenwald was like, bro, I thought you motherfuckers cared about free speech. What the hell? In fact, I've been loving the coverage that Glenn Greenwald been doing on this, my friends, because Glenn is supposed, you know how Glenn will go on Jesse Waters? He'll go on Jesse Waters all the time, which I don't oppose. I say you should go on those shows. I'll go on Fox News or any right-wing channel that invite me. They just don't because they don't want the phone. But Glenn Greenwald explained how Jesse Waters used to invite them on all the time. And then Glenn reached out to him personally like, hey, man, you guys are doing this bullshit about anti-Semitism. I thought you was against social justice warriors, snowflakes that say they are uncomfortable on campuses. That's why you used to invite me on the show so we can talk about the left. Now, Jesse Waters is like, Glenn, lose my number. He pretend he don't know who Glenn Greenwald is now. You notice that Glenn hasn't been on these Fox News channels since October 7th, right? And I am loving that the right has been completely exposed. I see you on mute. Feel free to chime in. I'll pass to Jose and Misty. I know I'll rant for a second. Do you guys want to chime in before I move on?
No.
I want to comment on what she says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you want to preface this with? Going once, going twice. And I'll play the video. I'll shut the fuck up. I'll play the video. Let's play the video. I'll get you guys in here.
I know in South Dakota, you've got a bill. I think it's a new bill combating anti-Semitism or reaffirming old bills. Could you just tell us a little bit about that? Because it's such an important issue.
Well, this is a bill that defines what anti-Semitism is, and it has examples that we put in statute that will be used as model legislation in every other state to make sure we're defining what a hate crime is and that we can prosecute those who engage in it. It really is the strongest language in this country to push back on some of what we've seen for hatred being spread across this country since the October 7th attacks. So I was devastated to see some folks in this country be uneducated and some maybe purposefully stand with pro-Hamas and attack our allies Israel and our brothers and sisters in the Jewish community. This bill we signed into law today in the rotunda of our Capitol. We had hundreds and hundreds of people there. It was amazing to see the unity and the support. We have one of the smallest Jewish communities in the entire country, but we dearly love them and stand with our allies and are proud to sign this bill that I believe many, many, many other states are going to use because it gives them strong language that we can win in court and prosecute those who engage in hate crimes.
All right, so
congratulations on that.
So Misty, I want to unleash you. You guys know how hard that was to let that play without stopping it?
Yeah.
please, I need some praise. I need a pat on the head for that.
Right? You do.
Misty, I want to unleash the Kraken, unleash the dragon. Misty, let me know how you feel about this.
If you want to know who rules, over you, look at who you're not allowed to criticize. That's what I have to say about that. This has nothing to do with protecting Jewish people. Nothing at all. This is about protecting Zionism. This is about protecting AIPAC and the Zionist lobby and her donors. And that's what this is about. And you're right. I'm so glad that the right has been exposed on this because they have attempted to position themselves as the free speech party, I guess, or side or whatever you want to call them. And which is interesting to me because that was an effective move for them for a while, because in comparison to liberals, they were the kind of free speech alternative in that equation. There's no question about it. But this has absolutely exposed them across the board. And it's like you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is, her hypocrisy has been on full display. For example, that when the, I think it was Jewish Voices for Peace were in the rotunda, and she was calling for there to be charges. This is a woman who has been freaking out about January 6th, rightfully so, but then wants to see the exact same thing happen to Jewish Voices for Peace. So the unbelievable hypocrisy on display here is so frustrating to me. And this, as a free speech act, this is what I fucking do. It's so frustrating to me that there's like zero consistency on this issue from most people. Even people who claim to be on the side of free speech and who claim to support press freedom and all of that stuff, find an issue where they don't like the things that are being said, and suddenly suddenly they reverse course. And they're all about censorship, and they're all about silencing people that they don't agree with. So fuck this bitch and her stupid bill. It has nothing to do with protecting Jewish people. This is about protecting Zionism, and I have no time for it. Zero patience.
Well, Jose, we about to get in trouble. Richie Torrey about to add, like, you see these deplorables that Jose Vega associates himself with.
Jose, I'm real bad for your campaign. You may want to disassociate.
That's not. I don't know. I'll make you my my what do you call it? The community press, my press speaker. So you can
communications director.
Yeah, communications director. You can do that. My reaction to this is you can't see it as like an isolated thing, because here in New York, the speaker of the Senate, I believe, Alan Dinowitz or Dershowitz, whatever that guy's name is, Gaijin girl brought this up to me, on Twitter. They want to make it illegal to interrupt a lawful, peaceful assembly. Right. And the language is so ambiguous, because that means the interventions that I've been doing, or the ones that have been going on recently, like the one with Gillibrand, where like 6 people stood up and started calling Gillibrand like a genocider and a genocide denier and enabler. They want to make that a felony, which would mean you get 1 year in jail automatically. Right. And then there's a second bill. Bro. Yeah, right. So people who want to, do the stuff that like they're seeing now, or the stuff that I've done, if that it's likely they would go to jail for a year just for doing it. And secondly,
do people know what words mean? I'm sorry, Jose, I have to chime in on that, because that's we literally need to focus on that. I'm sorry to interrupt your point, but do people know what words mean?
No.
This is why we talk about words and what they mean, and this is why I don't shy away from using words the way they mean. That is fascism. That is the squashing of dissent, which is a tenet of fascism. But go ahead, finish.
It's like the first thing fascists do.
Yeah. I'll pass you, Misty. Jose, I apologize for interrupting. Misty, you can chime in after him.
You're going to do field day with the second point, which is that the second bill is they want to redefine what it means to be a domestic terrorist, and they want to include people who block roads, block trains, and then so you would be labeled as a domestic terrorist, and you would get automatic 2 years in jail if you do any of that kind of stuff. So
they're fighting to defend democracy, Misty. This is what defending democracy looks like.
You have to destroy democracy to defend democracy. Come on. That's how that works. That's why you bomb for peace.
So I would just say just because, like, you see what's happening over in South Dakota, and then you see what's happening in New York and then other states, it's all one big coordinated effort to implement the blatant. I mean, we're already in a fascist state, but now it's just so blatant. It's like and then they're doing this thing in the subways where you can't get on the train unless they can inspect your bag. It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
They got the National Guard out there, man, checking bags. It's crazy. Yo, and this is not, this is global. This is not just in the United States. Canada's got some bullshit going on. The UK's got some bullshit going on. There's some like internet protection bill, which is not that. So this is, and that's what's so frustrating about this, is that global fascism is on the rise. This is not just a United States issue. This is a global issue, and that should terrify everybody, because this really is we're in that battle right now. We're in that fight right now. That's happening.
This is why I co-founded Tender Mans. I wrote multiple Substack articles about abolition. This is why I don't understand why motherfuckers is like, oh, why are you guys talking about defund the police? You mean the most important thing we're fighting right now? Like, you guys are allowing a police state to be built, as you guys call China and Russia authoritarian, other countries authoritarian. You had Jon Stewart that said that the reason why, and I'm pissed. I was about to do a segment on that, but I didn't know if YouTube would pull us. But I saw everyone did a segment. I'm like, damn, I should have did it. But he was like, well, the reason why we don't got subways like Moscow is because the price of freedom.
The price of freedom.
When he said it, because I actually watched the clip before it went viral, like, bro, what did he just say? I was waiting for the punchline. He said that with a serious face.
Yeah, he meant it.
The price of freedom is apparently the National Guard implementing fascist checkpoints for ordinary citizens. This is the United States waging war against their own people. Do you guys understand that we spend more on the NYPD than every other country does on their military?
Yep.
Why are we going to war with our own people? Bill, don't talk about defund police. Go ahead, Jose. Go ahead.
No, they're trained by the IDF. Like these are IDF trained police officers that have a bigger budget than most militaries around the world, like you said. You know, and then to John Stewart's point, is the price of freedom a single mother who has to work 3 fucking jobs just to support her kids, right?
Freedom!
I mean, that's freedom, right? Oh,
freedom,
thank
guys.
God. You know, having to burn, books just to stay warm at night. That's freedom. Thank you, John.
Yes.
I'm so glad people can live in freedom at least. Can't have a clean subway, but freedom.
The idea that these cops are trained by the IDF too, do y'all see why I was so pissed off when people kept saying, well, Israel-Palestine is just one issue? No, it's not. It is not just one issue. It is the police state. Surveillance, who do you think owns and controls all of the surveillance software? Israel. The idea that they own and operate our government, you don't think that's an issue that we should be getting? COVID? I shouldn't say that on YouTube. Sorry. The thing with the things and the stuff.
Yeah. I think they actually relaxed the policy, but feel free. But go ahead.
Okay, I haven't been on YouTube in a long time, other than like appearances. So I always get really nervous, and I'm gonna get somebody, their channel taken down because I have no filter.
I gotta be careful. But I remember, I think I was talking to Sabby or someone else who's a content creator that said you're allowed to say certain things. I gotta be careful what I say, but you're allowed to speak more freely about now in the new policy.
Okay,
but go ahead, Misty. Now I'm gonna play this clip.
No, I'm always worried that because I don't have a filter and things come out of my mouth usually before my brain has time to catch up. So I'm always worried about that.
I am surprised we still have a fucking channel, bro. We had multiple strikes. We had a few strikes overturned, bro. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But this is the infamous clip. This is Liberalism 101. And we're gonna get to the Joe Biden speech. I know you got Jose, I know you got limited time. And it's not gonna be a long stream anyway. Misty, I'm not gonna keep you 2 hours this time. Me and Misty like minimum 2 hours.
It's me keeping you. I told you, I figured it out. The problem is me, and I'm sorry.
So we're gonna cover the Joe Biden speech, and that'll be like the last topic. We might shoot the shit a little bit, read super chats, but the Joe Biden speech will be the last topic. Jose, I know you got a lot of other. I know you're limited on time. Listen to this Unhinged clip. Listen to this. I'll give you in here.
Because the difference between our urinal chaotic subways and your candelabra beautiful subways is the literal price of freedom.
You can't make it.
There are not enough fuck yous for this guy. Fuck you, dude. You are such an unbelievable scumbag. Everybody who ever thought that this man was worth a damn or that his opinion mattered or that he was somehow on your side, you like foolish, just foolish. This guy is such a douche canoe.
Unbelievable. I heard that live, and I was like, not live, but I saw it on YouTube like the morning of, before the clip went viral. And the second I heard this, I knew that this was going to be a viral clip. And I made a tweet about it that went mini viral. Where I was like, bro, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was going to be a punchline. No, he says this with a dead ass face and keeps going. This is not a punchline.
No.
Meanwhile, we have a police state literally at the subway that you guys were explaining. Jose, anything you want to add before we move on to our last official story?
I would just say, I mean, I don't know. I think you guys already kind of stressed this. All I can really say is that New York City has just been a shithole for the last 50 years. And I want to take this moment to say the immigrants are not the problem. Okay. Everyone is complaining about the immigrants here in New York City. They're saying the Republicans have this like weird conception. Oh, the immigrants are living rosy lives in 5-star hotels. No, they're living in the streets. And the ones that are in the hotels, there's like 6, 7, 8 people in them with a 2-bed hotel room. Okay. Their lives are shit. They're not living rosy lives. The immigrants are not the issue. New York City was just always collapsing, and then you had this influx of people. New York City couldn't even handle the people who were already here to begin with. And then you bring in all these other people. Don't blame the immigrants for the lack of shitty infrastructure of New York City. They're not the problem. So
no, they're being used as political pawns, and it's so gross. They're human fucking beings, and they're being used as political pawns. It's so fucking. Our country is so sadistic. I shouldn't say our country. Our government is incredibly sadistic.
Well said. Now, once again, this is how you win me over, Jose, because every other fucking weak ass politician is falling for this. Guys, I'm one of the people that if I believe I'm right, I will stay on the hill fucking alone. Me and CJ said the same thing. To me, and I'm allowed to say this, And I am one of the people that go after my community as hard as anyone else. I heard a lot of white people feelings all the time when I talk about white America. I go as hard as my community as anyone else. There's nothing more pathetic. And I will say this to any person face. I will say this to all the black people in Chicago. I will say this to their face. I will say this to all the black people in New York. There's nothing more pathetic than you motherfuckers complaining over crumbs.
Right.
Massa, can I have some welfare, Massa? No, come on, Massa, stop giving the fucking immigrants the welfare. You got fucking corporations making record profits. You got Israel being sent billions of dollars. We sent billions of dollars to Ukraine, but you guys are fining over $9 million to migrants in Chicago. That was one of the black, because people will say this, all these white people are like, you guys see what the black people in Chicago, they concerned about it too. Have you guys heard what they said? I did a segment about it. I was the only one brave enough to do a segment to expose how dumb these people are. You have this black lady who's leading the charge in Chicago, the anti-immigrant charge in Chicago. You know she's a Trumper, for one. You guys know she did this whole thing. She's like, yeah, I believe Democrats went so far left, I am now voting for Trump. You guys know that she's the one behind the whole black people behind are super concerned about immigration thing in Chicago. And you guys want to know what she said? She said that the reason why social programs is underfunded in black communities is because of the migrants. So we have to take billions of dollars and send it to the wall. How does that fix the problem? And also, before I get you guys in, because I see you guys chiming again here, these same people will say, oh my God, the migrants are siphoning social money from social services. So let's vote for the Republicans who are against social services. Do you guys see how unserious they are? And why I am not okay with anti-intellectual, dumbass shit in my community. And a lot of white people are like, oh my God, black people worry about immigration. They're wrong. You worry about immigration and we got cop cities being built? Get fucking serious. Yeah, when you worry about immigration as Zionists are hijacking our system, get fucking serious. And they're in the whole Chicago thing, because apparently no one looked into it. They was mad because a migrant center got $9 million. Nigga, that's nothing.
Yeah.
You guys are bitching over fucking pennies. $9 million, that's what some white families make a year. The fuck y'all talking about?
Exactly.
$9 million, nigga, that's a fraction of what it costs to build Cop City. So instead of worrying about the money being sent to migrants, why aren't you worried about calling out the military-industrial complex and police state? You don't because it's too hard. They don't because it's too hard. They don't because they don't want to make powerful enemies. They want to make enemies of the weak migrants that have no power. That is what it is. That is what everyone's feeding you guys. And that's why there are a lot of right-wingers who don't like my take on this, but I'm not feeding the bullshit. And I'm super glad you said that, Jose, because there have been a lot of people feeding this bullshit. I'm not. I am absolutely not.
Don't nobody should fall for it. You know, honestly, like if I were to win, which I'm not, but I have like a real solution. If you look at the United States, you look at how much of a shithole it is, right? The roads suck. The sewer system sucks. The fact that Flint, Michigan still doesn't have clean water sucks, right? Or the fact that we don't have like high-speed rail, right? Or we don't have more advanced forms of energy. If you map out actually what the United States needs to be brought to modern standards, the first thing you're going to realize is that there's not enough people to build it all. And you're going to be begging migrants to come in and giving them citizenship in exchange for that. That's my plan. You know, let the migrants come in. We train them how to build these things. We pay them a humane salary, give them housing. Then they build the country. And now they're a part of the country just as much as any American is a part of the country. So that's what I think.
Sorry, Jose, for opening this pen. I apologize, but you opened it.
Can I just add
go ahead, Misty. Go
briefly? I just wanted to so you know, we talk about how people are mad at immigrants and think that they're the cause of all of our problems and that's where all this money's going. I'll just give you one example here of how ridiculous that is. Alan Shaw, who is the CEO of Norfolk Southern, you may have heard of it. They're known for train derailments. You know, East Palestine, Ohio, that is still dealing with devastation, still dealing with health implications like skin lesions and rashes and coughs and nausea, vomiting, all of that good stuff. My guy got a 37% raise after that. In 2022, he made $9.8 million. In 2023, he got a raise to $13.4 million. Have you ever seen anybody fail up so hard? I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, 37 million. I'm sorry, 37% up to $13.4 million. And we're sitting here talking about we should be calling that out, first of all. But yes, also the military industrial complex. How many billions of dollars did we send to a cokehead in Ukraine who has Nazis in his military? How many billions? I'm just curious. Unaccountable money. We have no idea where it went. We have no idea whose hands it ended up in. Most of it went up his nose, I think. And Lahaina, still in ashes. Still in ashes. Not a damn thing's been done to help those people. Not a damn thing. They are still East Palestine, still dealing. In Lahaina, they wanted to give them $700 per household, not even per person, per household, to deal with that situation. And we're going to send billions of dollars. We sent before October 7th, we were sending $3.8 billion every single year to Israel. They have healthcare. We do not. And it's just, it blows my mind. Yes.
We spent on Afghanistan, $300 million a day on Afghanistan, but you got a bunch of fucking
but it's immigrants, guys.
Complaining about $9 million. Like,
yeah,
so
it's immigrants.
Go ahead,
That's the
Misty,
problem. No, it's so frustrating to me that people, and I think that we're starting to see it turn around because there was some polling done in January. And listen, polling is what it is. I take it with a giant dose of salt. But the polling numbers in January showed that the focus that people were putting on foreign policy issues increased tremendously over this past election cycle as they were starting into 2024. Across the board, Democrats, Republicans, didn't matter. Everybody put it higher on their list than they had in previous years. And that's fantastic because I don't think people recognize the direct implications that foreign policy has on domestic policy. Of course it does. And if you want to know why the country's collapsing, it's not like we don't know. We have historical precedent for this. Every time an empire fails, it's because they've overextended militarily. They don't take care of their own people at home. All of those things. We see it happening. It's happening right now. And so it's been very frustrating for me to watch people not talk about foreign policy because it's so far away. It doesn't matter. It matters. It's actually 100%.
Misty, to that point, I want you guys to realize this whole thing about people not voting on foreign policy is a boomer thing. Study history. You guys understand that generals went to war, the effects of war, and people's foreign policy is what people and how they viewed their leaders. Like, this is why the United States was forced to be an isolationist state before, because people were strongly isolationist. They was forced to support that. The Vietnam War was the first televised war, and people was voting on the Vietnam War. And during the time where boomers was adults and grown up, it was a coordinated effort by the media class after Vietnam to make Americans not care about foreign policy, to make foreign policy something that you don't talk about, we don't care about. Oh, so who cares about foreign policy? But before that, it was something that was extremely important. I did a long Rome history rant before where I explained how the reason why Rome was a never-ending conflict was because they actually had term limits. They had 1-year term limits, and because of that, their society valued glory. So these rulers, they wanted to start conflicts. They wanted to win their conflict before the terms end. This is why Rome was a warmongering country, was because of term limits. Now, because of this, it created never-ending conflict. It created conflict with the workers, conflict with the fact that people wasn't listening, that the Rome ruling class wasn't listening to people. They wanted to win the war. But there was a lot of Roman emperors who they didn't want to lose a conflict because they knew that would hurt the voters at home. Foreign policy, like, they didn't want to see Rome as being weak. There was a lot of rulers who didn't want to negotiate. They didn't want to have wars go badly, because if they did, the people would turn against them. Essentially what I'm trying to say, like, for forever, foreign policy was something people voted on in Rome and France. That's why people would go on these conquests. That's why peace deals back in the day was very important when people was upset at conflict. It was only recently during the boomer generation that all of a sudden, we don't care about foreign policy, which is strange. But anyway, let's move on. Anything you want to add, Jose, before I move on?
Can I just say briefly, just really quickly, watch the way that the media has shifted the way they cover since Vietnam. Watch the way it's shifted, because we used to see the body bags coming home. We don't anymore. There's a reason for that.
Yeah. Jose, anything last thing you want to add to before I move on?
No, I just wanted to say, I mean, that thing on term limits in Rome is very right. I think we are in that problem now because Rome was decay, right? It could only live off of pillaging others and making sure that its own people we're dying. It's like a monster that is already dying, and it just has to keep eating and eating and eating in order to, you know, delay the inevitable collapse. So, you know, no, I endorse what you said, and I just wanted to say I am considering Misty as my communications director if I win. I think.
Dude, that would be fucking powerful, fam.
Yeah, I would.
I don't know do you guys know Gay Waiter Paul on Twitter? I love him. Paul Sorrentino. I think it's
I love that guy.
I love him. He joked in I think 2020 that he was going to run for president, and it was like him and Hallway Cat or something. I don't know. But he always said that he was going to make me his or his press secretary or something. And that always made me laugh.
This is one last thing I want to bring up, because once again, I'm very happy you went on that base rant, Jose, because I've been going crazy the last year or so. You know, this whole Joe Biden open border. That everyone just made the fuck up. You gotta know there's an open border every time there's election season. Somehow the border always open up right around election time. Isn't that funny how that works?
Real quick, Skylar, the creator, I have never once said that out loud. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't care about Skylar. Who cares?
All right.
But you remember the migrant caravan during the Trump years? Like, people keep pretending that this migrant shit is new because every American got a memory of a fucking goldfish. Every election, the border all of a sudden get open. Remember the migrant caravan?
Yes.
During the midterm crisis? Every fucking election. So do you guys know, and for all the people who are repeating this Biden open border bullshit, like, a lot of people have been disappointing me on this shit.
Yeah.
Repeat after me. Repeat after me. Joe Biden deported more people in 3 years than Trump deported in 4. Joe Biden deported more Haitian people in 9 months than Donald Trump did the entirety of 4 years. Joe Biden is spending $6 billion more on DHS and ICE than Donald Trump. What the fuck are you guys talking about regarding an open border? You guys need to admit that neoliberal capitalist solutions to immigration do not exist. You guys know that's why they don't want to reach that conclusion. And I've been very vocal about this on Twitter, and I have been very shocked to see the fact that I have been a very open border advocate. So we've been questioning this narrative that no one invites me on to discuss this. I've been talking about. I'm like, hey guys, you guys want to debate me on this open border shit? Because what you guys saying is not adding up. It is not adding up. The reality of the situation is there is no neoliberal capitalist solution to the immigration crisis. You guys need to end the Cuban embargo, lift the sanctions that you guys have Venezuela and South America, and end U.S. imperialism and help rebuild those countries and pray that the immigration crisis slows down. No matter what kind of police state you build, this solution is not going to go away. So sorry, I had to say this because the issue that been driving me crazy. Jose, let me know how you're doing on time. I don't think this. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I want to ask you just in general. Go ahead, Jose.
I got like 12 minutes, 10, 12 minutes. I got to be off like 1:15.
Yeah, we're not going to go longer than that. We're not going to go longer than that. I'm not going to cover a lot of this because I want to get your, as a candidate, I'm going to ask you this, your reaction to Biden's State of the Union address. But before you answer, this is the only clip we're going to play. It's not going to be a long segment because in my intro, I explained to you guys Biden gave what can only be described as a fascist pro-war speech. Imagine you're giving a State of the Union address where you have the biggest platform that you had yet. Millions of, quote unquote, millions of people are watching. And the first thing you talk about is Ukraine and other countries. Do people not find that strange? So I'll play this clip and then I'm gonna ask your opinion of this. And Misty, I'm gonna get you in here soon. This will be our last segment. Misty, I promise you, we're not doing 2 hours today. So we almost done. Let's get into this clip.
Time. Overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine, sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not.
You guys see the lie they keep saying? How many
Who's expanding? Who's expanding? It's not Russia, it's NATO, motherfuckers. Oh my God, this drives me crazy. Oh.
I can't even make out what he's saying. It's just like
That's all the meds he's on. Sorry.
Jose,
They've got him so drugged.
I had to stop you there because that's the first line. Because you know why they are saying this. They started this. You guys know when they started really accelerating this talking point that you will hear from the most insane neocons around October 7th, ever since the genocide. Because before, correct me if you guys think I'm wrong, but before, when they talk about the Ukraine war, they would say, well, we need to stand up for human rights, for freedom, sovereignty, democracy. You know what I mean? We got to stand up against war crimes. But after Gaza, the Biden administration haven't even tried to use those same words no more. That's why they pivot to this. We got to stop Putin now or he's going to take over Europe. Not about human rights no more. But Jose, I'm going to get you in here, your response to this. And your overall impression, we don't have to watch too much of this. Your overall impression of Biden's pro-war speech. I'm sure you guys seen a lot of the clips already. But
well, I had the displeasure of watching the entire thing even before. I mean, he was delayed to do it because of there was a motorcade that was blocking his entrance. And these protesters held up a sign that said Biden's legacy is genocide. And I was really happy to hear that. But when I was watching it as he was coming in, and like all of the politicians, not just the Democrats, all of them were like fangirling Biden as he was walking in, and they were all like, "Oh, take a selfie with me, take a selfie with me." I thought back to this story by Edgar Poe called "The Mask of the Red Death," where there's a plague and a pestilence that is inflicting the entire land, and everyone's dying and everyone's sick, and but the prince, he brings up all his friends into his castle. They board it up and they're like, yeah, fuck that. That's not my problem. We're all chilling here. We're all having a good time. And at the end of the story, the disease catches up to them. The mask of the Red Death comes to all of them and kills them all. And that is the situation we're in right now. These people think they are untouchable. They sit in their ivory towers and they think that they don't care about you. That's what that fucking State of the Union told me, is they don't care about you. They don't like you. They don't love you. They don't think about you. But come election year, oh, you're a money bag to them. Oh, you're a supporter of theirs. Oh yeah, we'll do whatever you want. And then they'll fuck you in the ass, and then they'll throw you aside, and then they'll come back in 4 years and do the same song and dance. And I think people need to stand up and say, you know, fuck you. I'm done. I'm not doing this shit anymore. And so Biden, who barely mumbled and was like incoherent through his entire speech, basically saying, yeah, there's genocide going on. It kind of sucks, but I mean, we're gonna keep doing it, and we got to make sure Vladimir Putin's the problem. Vladimir Putin's not the problem, okay? It's these NATO countries and the United States and UK that are like pushing forward this war. These people are going to get us into a nuclear fucking war, okay? And people need to just get off their ass, because we're not even going to make it to November. I don't think we're going to make it to November if nobody steps up right now and says we need to stop this war. We need to stop the nuclear threat. We need to stop the genocide in Gaza.
From now,
so
President
my overall
Biden will address the
sucks. It's just fuck the State of the Union, the government. It's just that you have no government. I mean, you can call it a circus, but that's just such an understatement to what it actually is. It's a fucking preschool. We are run by preschoolers who don't care about us. That's
We're
our
run by
problem.
mobsters. It's a mob. Legit.
Yeah.
It is organized crime. That is legitimately what it is. Straight up. We're run by psychopaths. Period. Joe Biden doesn't run shit. I mean, you guys know that, right? Like he doesn't run shit. He's not making any decisions. Zero decisions are being made.
Trump won't either. Trump did it his first
he
term.
didn't. No, none of them do. None of them. They're nothing more than figureheads. They're puppets on a string. They're the face of empire. They're the guy that goes out there and sells it to the people. That's it. That's all they are. It doesn't matter who the president is, y'all. It does not matter. It doesn't matter. I don't know how many times I have to say it. It doesn't matter. The only difference between the blue puppet and the red puppet is the demographic to which they pander to. That's it. That's it.
Jose, I don't want to keep you late, so I want to give you opportunity. So you're not rushing to give you the last word to shout out how people can help you in your campaign. Any last words you want to say before? And Misty, do you mind wrapping up with me? We got maybe
no, not at all. No, I'm good. I'm
we
okay.
close with Misty.
I just have laundry to do, so I'm okay with avoiding that for a little while.
Yeah, we have Comic-Con here. I think I'm supposed to be going to Comic-Con with my brothers.
Oh, nice.
It should be fun. Should be fun.
Yeah, that is a good time.
That's why, Jose, when you say you want to do it early, I was like, that actually worked for me, because I think everyone's going to Comic-Con today, so that should be dope. Go ahead, Jose.
Right. These will be my last words, and then I'll head out to something else I got to do. If people want to support my campaign, honest to God, Just intervene, keep protesting, keep rallying, keep being loud, and keep being vocal. I don't give a shit about a vote. I don't give a shit about a win. I want to make sure that everyone can still be here come November. So one of the slogans of my campaign is vote Vega, elect yourself. Don't wait for election year. Don't wait for someone to vote you in to go do something. Just do it. Be the change you want to see in your community and in the world. I think the interventions have shown that the entire world is looking at the American citizenry asking, what are you about to do? So give them something to do. You know, give them something to look at to prove that you're doing something. That's how you can support my campaign. And then if you can't do that, then you can give me money. All right. But do that first. And if you can't give me money, then I don't know. And you can't, I don't know, tell other people to do it. So in that order, that's how you can support my campaign. And that's all I'll say.
Yeah. So once again, Jose is the first person running that I ever reached out to come on RBN. You guys realize that you got the special distinction. In 3 years, I never ever did that. And I was like, oh shit, he is running. I guess whatever. I invite Jose on because he's a friend in network, and I like his anti-imperialist opinions and actions. So that's why we invite you on. You're so happy to be running for office. So thank you for joining us today. And I do wish you luck because it does take a lot of bravery to raise your hand. And I hope you do a great job representing your people. I really, really do. So thank you for joining us, Jose.
I'll make a public commitment now. If I win, Misty, we can interview you for my communications director. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding about that. And I was telling this to Sabby last night. Like, I want a posse to walk in with me day one. I want like you guys. I want Sabby. I want Rome in there with a fucking shotgun walking into the Capitol or something. Like that's what I told you day one. So
you're gonna get Rome shot.
All right. I gotta go. Take care, y'all.
See ya.
Thank you for coming on. So just me and Misty with another banger. I had for Saturday. I had to bring a banger with you guys today. I had to bring Misty back on. Always good to have you on the show, my friends. I think we're gonna break a record. I think we're gonna finish this show under 90 minutes.
Nice.
I think we finally can do it because
we've never done that before. I don't think we've ever done that before.
I think this is the record. I think we finally did it. We finally did a show less than 2 hours.
Victory.
So how much this is not normal. Do you guys understand this? You guys all seen the speech. Everyone and their mama covered it. Look at this headline. This essentially sums up the state of the union. Global conflicts in Ukraine, Gaza loom. Guys, it's not normal. And the reason I say this because I think Glenn did a good job explaining this because he lives in Brazil. I watched one of his like radars or whatever. He's playing like, guys, you know, in Brazil, we talk about local politics. Like we talk about how much we're gonna spend our money, all that kind of stuff. When you live in other countries, this conversation about who you waging war with, what war are you funding, nigga, this is weird and not normal.
No.
I'm very happy because I remember I had a conversation with my mom about this recently. Where I'm radicalizing in a record amount. My very famously apolitical mom, where I was talking about when she saw my video on Hotspot, because she's been watching my Hotspot videos recently. That's the only thing that ever got her in politics because of my Hotspot videos. She thinks it's catchy. So she never watched my live streams either. She's like, I ain't about to hear you talk for 2 hours, nigga. Get out of here. She likes the Hotspot. So my mom been watching the Hotspot, and after one of the Hotspot, she like, wait, Boris Johnson broke a peace deal in Ukraine? What's going on? And she unpromptly brought this up to me, which has never happened before. That shit never ever happened before. And I explained to her, I was like, Mom, you know how crazy it is that we got conflicts in Ukraine and we got conflicts in Gaza, we got conflict in Iran, we got
Taiwan,
Iraq, I just
Syria.
There's a question I ask people all the time. You got like, do you know that this is not normal for a country to have this many conflict? And when I said it to my mom, she's like, you're right. That is crazy. You know what I mean? It is one of the things that she never thought about. My famously apolitical mom. And this is how I reach people. Going back to our topic about how people don't care about foreign policy. That's how you reach people. Just explain people. This shit is not normal. Government's supposed to be talking about what what's going on in your life.
Schools,
the same bias
roads.
Ukraine. But go ahead, Misty. Go ahead.
No, but you're right, and that I think that what this highlights, really, what this really kind of exposes, is that the United States, at least, and by the United States I mean the mobsters that run things, they think that everywhere is ours, right? That we have ownership over the entire globe, and so that's why we have so many conflicts. That's why. How many countries are we currently occupying? I'm genuinely asking because I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows, because I think most of them are being done in secret and behind closed doors. But I mean, y'all, we're in seriously, if you just list it off, it's like the Animaniacs thing, right? Where they start listing off all the countries. That's us. We're fucking with everybody. And then we wonder why nobody likes us and nobody takes us seriously. But we've it's going to come home to roost. It already is. Like, we're starting to see the BRICS countries, Russia and China, like all of that stuff. You are currently living within the fall of the United States empire. So look around, take it in. That's what's happening. We are living within that time period. That is happening right now as we speak.
So despite how crazy this speech is, you have liberals that gotta pretend it's good.
Ugh.
And I'm gonna show you guys this. We're not gonna spend a lot of time. We're almost done, I promise you. I just saw this in my notes, and I almost skipped this. I have to get your opinion on this. One of the funniest tweets I've seen.
I tweeted about this. It's some funny shit. This is some funny shit.
Guys, I cannot wait until this election year, bro. What I told you guys last year, I said, bro, 2024 about to be popping, bro, because last year the liberals don't care. I've been through multiple elections, not a lot. I'm not too old, but I've seen some shit. You know what I mean? I know how these things go. The year before the election, the liberals will chill. You can talk shit about Biden, Democrats. They may be mildly annoyed, but it's during the election season when they become militant. I was talking the same shit I did about Biden, Democrats, when I was more pro Bernie, when I'm more social Democrats. All the Bernie people was 100% okay with me being this loud Negro talking all this shit.
Yeah.
Then the second that Bernie dropped out and the election got closer, that's when the hard divorce really kicked up. When they're like, no, nigga, we gotta vote Biden. I was like, you guys gotta go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
That's what you guys can do. And that's when a lot of these people used to follow me. All the people that pretend I'm deplorable. All the people who used to follow my Substack. All the people who used to follow my old YouTube channel. They hate me because I'm not following on with this vote blue no matter who shit. And I say all this because election season, when shit gets funny, is when liberals really start to panic and they believe that they can put pressure on us. So after the State of the Union address, you have all these liberals puffing their chest out because the general election now started. Here's Aaron Rupar, and I'll pass to you because I did the intro, because I'll let you respond. I prefaced it. Fair warning right now that I am going to have no fucks to give this election cycle. Misty, he has no fuck.
Oh.
The choice between democracy and authoritarianism, sanity and insanity. I'm going to call out anybody says, who obscures the line, that very clear and vital distinction. It is all on the line. Misty, he's about to call us out.
Oh no! Fair warning, guys. Aaron Rupar's coming. I don't give a fuck, you turd. I don't give two shits what you have to say about literally anything. Nothing. Your opinion means nothing to me. And it's so funny that you mentioned that election season is where shit gets really funny. That's where you see people who are legitimately consistent and who actually believe the things that they're saying, and then the people who are grifters. Because it's real easy, like Crystal Ball and what's his face, Ryan Grimm, right now are like, oh yeah, people have more money in their pockets. Like, they were just trashing him about the genocide like 2 weeks ago. And now suddenly they're already starting to soften. And come November, they're going to tell you to vote for Joe Biden or whoever the Democrat happens to be, because they don't give a shit about Palestine. They don't actually care about these things. It is a grift to them. So yeah, I think that's where you really see who actually believes the things that they're talking about and who does not. And Aaron Rupar can kiss my whole ass, my guy. My whole ass. I don't give a shit. Come for me. Do you think I'm scared of you, Aaron Rupar? Give me a break. You're a joke. Shut the fuck up. Sorry.
I said this last year, and I'm gonna reiterate it for all the big badass liberals out there. I have an open invite for the entirety of Nick and Night season 2. For any liberal who want to convince me to vote for Joe Biden, go for it. For real, I'm dead serious. If you're one of the 1,600 people watching across all our platforms right now, and you're like, these motherfucking RBN Jimmy Dore plantation motherfucker told us not to vote for Joe Biden, promise you guys, I have an open invite, and I am saying this right now. I am willing to be nice. I want to have a nice, cordial. Well, I'm gonna say this. I will match your level because that's how if you're nice to me, I'm gonna be nice to you. If you're mean to me, I'm down for whatever. So if you want to come on and explain to me why we should vote for Joe Biden, you have an open invite. And this is my last thing I said on this. I'm like, and it's weird that they're not taking me up on that,
right?
Because we are the post-duopoly channel. So, Misty, they said that this election is the most important election of our lifetime.
You should want to talk about it.
Yes, that
Come
democracy is on the line, right?
Yeah.
When you think that since democracy on the line, that this is the most important election of the history of this republic, that maybe you should get out of your comfort zone and convince people to vote for Joe Biden. Isn't it that important?
You would think so. But listen, that's not the voter outreach strategy for liberals. I don't know if you saw MSNBC the other day. I think it was on Super Tuesday when Rachel Maddow and Jen Psaki and Joyanne Reed were laughing at people in Virginia because they care about immigration. Their voter outreach strategy is just mock you. That we're just smug condescension. That's our voter strategy, our voter outreach program is we're just going, if you don't think the same way we do, we're going to mock you, make fun of you. We're not going to talk to you like you're human or that you have, of course, Virginia should be concerned about immigration. Everybody should. It's not just a like border state issue that we have immigrants who are, as we mentioned, in Chicago, in New York, they're all over the place. So everybody should be concerned about it. It is a nationwide issue. Wherever you stand on it, it doesn't matter. You have a right to be concerned about it. So the smug condescension, Rachel Maddow said, oh, well, they do share a border with West Virginia.
Oh, Jesus.
Fuck you, Rachel Maddow. Disgusting.
You want to know who is having a very hard time right now?
This is what I was talking about.
I can't wait to get you started on this one. This is the last receipt. We're going to read super chats. I think we're going to get here in 90 minutes. I think we got 90 minutes.
Maybe 95.
You see what the fuck happens every time me and Misty go live?
I was late.
You guys, this is the last receipt.
Yeah.
Because during the State of the Union address, you had Crystal Ball say this shit right here. And then you see the Gaza conflict is really fucking with these people, not because of the genocide, but because they cannot do the vote blue no matter who vote shaming that they was planning on doing. Remember, Crystal Ball last year said that if you're planning to vote for a third party, you need to grow up. That's what she was saying with her chest. She was a giant Biden supporter. Then the Gaza genocide happened. And she like, fuck. Brian Grimm is like, fuck. Now, there are a lot of people who say, I don't agree with this, by the way, but there are a lot of people who say that Crystal Ball has done a great job with her Palestine and Gaza coverage. I will give her the very mild critic of being critical of Israel, but everyone's critical of Israel.
It's not hard.
I told you guys on RBN that if you condemn Palestinian resistance like she has, I don't think you're good on the issue. That is my radical ass speaking. She condemned Hamas. She said October 7th was a horrible, brutal attack, even though it was a military operation. To me, in my personal opinion, you're not good on the issue if you condemn Palestinian resistance. But let's take my opinion out of it. There are a lot of people who think that Crystal Ball is good on this issue, no matter how we feel about it. There are a lot of Palestinians that like her coverage, and I have to acknowledge it. She does do good coverage calling out some lies on the IDF. I am here to be honest with you guys. She does do good reporting on this. I just don't like the fact that she condemns Palestinian resistance. That's my own personal opinion, but I can take my personal opinion out of the analysis for a second. But this here shows the grift. And I can't believe they say this out loud. During the State of the Union, Crystal Ball is watching Joe Biden give this crazy, unhinged Trump derangement syndrome speech, and she watching with starry eyes. And she like, man, I really want to vote for this person. And she says the quiet part out loud.
Still labor.
This is only 30 seconds. That's why I want to get to it quickly. It's a very fun way to end the stream. Listen to what Ryan Grimm and Crystal Ball says. They essentially say, if it wasn't for the genocide, they would be out here defending Biden from us. Listen to this. It's unbelievable.
It is an incredible tragedy because, before Gaza, I was out there saying, listen, it's not just a lesser two evils vote. If you look just at antitrust and you look just at labor,
and just at wages, like wages now are growing faster than prices, and they have been.
Like if you care about
and especially the lower end,
if you care about checking corporate power, the people he put in place in key positions have done a great job, and they've been aggressive, and it's been groundbreaking, and it's been a real break from the Clinton Obama Democratic Party, and obviously wildly better than, Trump had a bunch of union busters in at the end. It is an incredible tragedy because
Not a bunch of union
before
busters.
God-
I'm sorry. Did she miss the part where Biden totally fucked up a union strike attempt? Did she miss that part? Did she sleep through that? Maybe she was having a play date with Kyle. I don't know. What was going on? What the fuck is she talking about?
Bro, she just said if it wasn't for the genocide in Gaza, she'd be out here defending Biden. So she'd be defending Biden from us, Misty. If it wasn't for the genocide in Gaza, she'd be out here as the number one Biden simp, like she was. And I promise you, wait until September. And I may or may not be wrong on this. It's whatever. If I'm right or wrong. But let me say it like this. I would not be surprised, and I will bet more than I think the other way will happen. I would bet on it that Crystal Ball will find a way to tell people vote for Joe Biden
100%
before this shit's over. So
if he's a nominee, if he is actually the nominee, which I still am not convinced that he's not going to have a medical emergency and they're going to try to replace him last minute. But if he is the nominee, whoever the Democratic Party nominee is, this woman is going to tell you to vote for them. I will guarantee that.
Who gives a fuck if you support these Zionists? She supported Biden last year.
Mm-hmm.
Who gives a guys? Maybe I'm wrong with this because me and Misty were both radical, whatever. I understand that I'm radical, but this whole thing when people say good things but then they support the policy that led to it, it means nothing to me. Yes, Crystal have done individual good reports on Israel, but she enabled the person who created the genocide. She enabled Genocide Joe, and I promise you she's going to vote for him again. Now, I'll play the clip again so you guys can soak in the sanity of it. It's only 38 seconds. Because essentially what they're saying is if it wasn't for genocide, they'll be all for Joe Biden. But in September, before October 7th, I made a viral tweet where I listed all the reasons not to vote for Joe Biden. So before I show you guys this, let me play this clip one more time.
It is an incredible tragedy because, before Gaza, I was out there saying, listen, it's not just a lesser two evils vote. If you look just at antitrust and you look just at labor,
and just at wages, wages now are growing faster than prices, and they have been.
Like if you care about
and especially the lower end,
if you care about checking corporate power, the people he put in place in key, positions have done a great job, and they've been aggressive, and it's been groundbreaking, and it's been a real break from the Clinton-Obama Democratic Party, and obviously wildly better than, Trump had a bunch of union busters in at the end. It is an incredible.
How is Biden checking corporate power when arms dealers, weapon manufacturers, corporations are making record profits?
Great question.
Arms dealers are corporations, Crystal?
Of course.
The ones who are killing it right now?
Mm-hmm.
Wall Street kill. How is he checking They just say shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I made this list, and we're about to be done. I'm fucking, God damn it. Because I still got to read Super Chats, and I realized.
We could rant all day. Just give it up.
God damn it. I love it. God damn it. So look at this. Look at the date of this tweet. I send this out September 11th, before October 7th, before the genocide. Reasons not to vote for Joe Biden. I'm going to quickly read them. Actually, do I have time to read them? I'll quickly read them.
I read really fast if you want me to do it. I'm fast.
Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yeah. Nord Stream pipeline bomber, biggest eco-terrorist in human history, approved of the Willow Project, broke the rail strike, gave federal contracts to union busters, sent COVID-19 relief money to the police, funded ICE to record level $6 billion more than Trump, illegally pressuring social media companies to crack down on free speech, fighting proxy war with Russia by sending weapons to Nazis in Ukraine, stealing billions from Afghanistan, starving their people, absolutely unhinged China policies, sent weapons to Taiwan, sent nuclear submarines to Australia, Hunter Biden pay-to-play corruption, hiring Neera Tanden as the White House domestic policy advisor, hiring Antony Blinken, hiring Lloyd Austin from Raytheon as defense secretary, full-fledged support to the genocidal state of Israel, pushing the privatization of water, insulting Maui response, said he would veto Medicare for all. Kamala Harris could become president.
And I also have some more because, guys, I made that list, that impressive list. Misty, you got a superpower. I wish I can do that. Guys, I made this list. You guys see the 8 a.m. I was in my bed just thinking about how evil Joe Biden was. I made this list on top of my head at 8 a.m. in my bed. Not doing any research, thinking like, man, I probably forgot a lot. I made this thread, and as long as it took me to type it. maybe only a few minutes. And then I continue. I added more. Misty, you want to read this last part?
Stole Iranian and Syrian oil, escalated Cuban embargo, actively trying to kill Julian Assange. Thank you. Bomb Somalia, cut SNAP benefits, hired notorious war criminal Ellie Abrams, hired Victoria Nuland as Deputy Secretary of State. Yeah, that's a good one.
So you guys see how I can put this list together just like that?
Yeah.
Before the genocide, my friends. Before the genocide, my friends. But Crystal Ball is out here talking about, nigga, if it went for the genocide, I'll be out here defending Joe Biden.
And that's not even all. Like, I could name, dude's got 50 years in politics doing really terrible things. I mean, we could talk about the crime bill. We could talk about NAFTA. We could talk about the Iraq war. And yeah, we could go for days talking about all of the horrific things that Joe Biden has done over the course of his career and why you should never, ever, 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 ever vote for him. Ever.
I think I said this in the thread, guys. This list is just stuff he did as president.
I read the past 2 years because it was 2023 when you wrote it. Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't even include his Senate record. I didn't include his record as vice president. This is shit he did as president. And I forgot stuff. I know I did.
You did. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, this is Gritty. I think Gritty posted a good list. We're going to wrap up here soon, so I'm not going to read all of it. This is his whole record. This is pre-2020 record. I don't have time to read it. I think I did a segment on this before. Actually, I think CJ did a segment on it. I think CJ did a segment called Reason Not to Vote for Joe Biden. Big shout out for CJ for covering my Twitter list. So we wrap up there. But you guys see how ridiculous Breaking Points is in the PMC class. I need to stop saying that. PMC class. Doesn't make sense. The professional managerial class.
The PMCs, yeah.
When I say PMC class, I hate it. Whenever I listen back to myself, I catch my mistakes. Whenever I say PMC class, I am saying professional managerial class. I need to stop doing it. It's a bad habit. But you guys see how they are like, if it wasn't for the genocide in Gaza, man, he'd be great president.
Ugh.
The fuck you talking about? You guys already see, we get super chats. Banger after banger after banger. It was. We had 90 minutes now. Why I said we wouldn't go. Unfortunately. we get the super chats and we wrap up. Always fun to have Misty on. Honorary RBN member. First been on Nick and Night season 2 more than anyone else thus far.
I'm the diversity hire, right? That's what we call it.
Oh, yeah.
Last time, the diversity hire. Oh, yeah.
Look at the super chat. I saw this earlier. This shit is funny.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. Good to see Misty did the diversity hire on.
I'm the token white.
Much love from New York. Absolutely. Another banger after banger after banger. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Nick and CJ will be back on Monday. I couldn't do Nick and CJ this Monday. I had some family stuff come up. I couldn't join CJ. But I'll be back with CJ on Monday. So I'm looking forward to do Nick and CJ again. Let's think for 499 Old Crow. Streets need this. We need an ampant rant for Misty. Everyone in the hood enjoys a good rant from Misty. Misty rants for hood certified classics if I ever seen it. Thank for the $5 GV Black. Double check you like this video on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter. Share the stream out now. Absolutely. Even if you're watching the end here now. I know I don't expect the algorithm to help us because the algorithm we explained it before. Misty, you guys know they cut our impressions on YouTube in half since October 7th.
I'm not surprised.
We don't complain about it a lot, but CJ did an investigation. We looked at our analytics. We posted on Twitter. We show you guys the evidence. After October 7th, the impressions, meaning the amount of new people who are not subscribed to our channel that sees our videos, was cut in half. And on the graph, you can literally see it started after October 7th.
Not surprising.
Okay, whatever. I'm not trying to be YouTube famous. It is what it is. If you enjoy the show, just know this is one of the reasons why I changed and I got more disciplined. When Nick at Night season 2, I got a very strict schedule. Now I'm proud. I've been following very loyally this year. Every Tuesday night, every Thursday night, and every Saturday at noon, I'm live. Since I can't rely on the algorithm to push our content because you guys don't get notifications, that's why I'm just relying on you guys. If you enjoy the show, if you enjoy the banger of a guest I've been having on the show, if you enjoy the topics, please just tune in. Memorize the schedule. It's in the description. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening and Saturday noon, I'll be live because I can't rely on the algorithm to let you guys know where I'm live. If you enjoy the show, I hope you tune in. Nick at Night 3 times a week. Last few super chats and we get out here. Thanks for a $5 Chima. Americans, particularly white Americans, will find any excuse to prioritize rich people and politicians over themselves and their immediate neighbors. That's people. A lot of people, their minds are colonized. There's no other way to say it. Thanks for the 499 Trash Panda for the Solidarity Super Sticker. And we have one more. This is the last super chat. I'm cutting off here just so no one
Oh,
leaves.
why? Fuck Sam Cedar.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So
he
Sam
follows
Cedar,
me. He follows me.
Yeah, the majority of people is like the only like Bernie channel that still follow me that never unfollowed me. They still follow me.
No, he's followed me like within the past probably year, maybe year and a half.
Ugh.
I don't know. Bernie Sanders' son follows me.
Are
you lost?
Yeah, no, anyone can get the phone. I don't understand why people like so scared. You know what I mean? I done debates with Destiny. I did debates with Robbie. I debated Vosh back in a long time ago. Like, to me, it's like just being at the barbershop. We arguing and shit. You know what I mean? So Sam Cedar debated Jackson Hinkle. He got stopped by old boy. But he will debate Jackson, but he will never debate me. Because I remember when his debate with Jackson Hinkle, he said he don't care that the Democrats voted to fund the police more. And that was the moment where I was like, okay, Sam Cedar just lost the debate 100%. But the only reason he's able to get away with that is because Jackson Hinkle is a white boy. So since Jackson Hinkle is a white boy, Sam Cedar can say, oh, I don't care about police being funded more. I don't care about war. But imagine if he's debating me. Imagine if he's debating a black person. He say he don't care about the police being funded more. That dynamic is exactly why they don't debate. They stay in these privileged echo chambers where they can say crazy, unhinged shit and won't be held accountable. But when Robbie and I go on the Hill, the one and only time, you guys know I was on the Hill, he brings up some shit about Venezuela being authoritarian, wipes him up in under 10 minutes. Like, once you see past the propaganda, these people are not intimidating. You know what I mean?
No.
The people who had college degrees, you realize that they're actually the easiest people to debate. I would hate to debate Misty. I would hate to debate CJ and Sabby and them. Nigga, team me up a college graduate any day.
Right?
Someone who have a master's degree? I wipe that motherfucker. I wipe him up.
Especially somebody like Sam Cedar who has no actual ideology. He's just saying whatever he needs to be part of the club. You know what I mean? Like those people are so easy to spot. They don't actually, I don't think they actually care about anything other than just making sure that they have personal advancement in their career, money. Like they just don't care at all. It's like Crystal Ball. I don't know why people are surprised by Crystal Ball. She literally came from MSNBC, y'all. What did you expect from her? Did you really think she was going to be some lefty revolutionary? No. She wants to be part of the club.
I'm surprised whenever she says something that's not shit Libby, not the other way around. Like people be surprised.
That's intentional. That's intentional. Those kinds of people do that stuff where they will occasionally throw in some good work. It's like mainstream media will occasionally tell you some truth because then it lends validity to the rest of the stuff that they're saying. And then people will start watching them and think that they are a certain way. It's no different than people give Crystal Ball all this credit for being, for supporting Julian Assange. And I will give anybody who supports Julian Assange credit, but there's also been segments where she has spent an entire segment with Sagar making fun of him, spreading propaganda about him smearing poop on the walls and not taking care of his cat, laughing at him openly on a stream. So that's what I mean. Like these people are very crafty.
I don't give her credit because she just like many people on the MAGA as well. They flipped on Julian Assange when Julian Assange became popular. Once the empire element was undeniable. That's why I don't really give her that much credit because once
I think those people need to be called out, especially people like Crystal Ball who are in positions of power. But my job as an Assange activist is to make him as mainstream as possible. Like we have to make his name recognizable. We have to, and if you want to change your mind on Julian Assange, for God's sake, please do it. Would love it. Love to see it. Please come aboard. Welcome aboard. I'm not going to hold any grudges for the average American person who didn't know any better and who was lied to and propagandized and has now come around and realize the error of their ways. I welcome that every single time. But somebody like Crystal Ball who knew better and knows better, those people need to be called out. People like AOC who, when she was asked about it by Jeremy Scahill, said she had issues, and now suddenly she's signing bipartisan letters with Thomas Massey to have him released, although she still hasn't signed on to the legislation. But yeah, if you're the average American and you come around on that issue, I welcome you with open arms, 100%. No grudges held.
Yeah, big shout out to my brother CJ who's been helping me produce in the back end. We have a Rumble rant as well. Thank you for $5. I apologize for all the Rumble rants I miss sometimes, but thank you McCrew 75 for the $5 Rumble rant. We have around 200 live viewers on Rumble. Once again, I think like X is popping, but I don't believe the numbers on X. Because if you count everything, we had like 1,600 live viewers, but X numbers is shady, bro. I don't know about that. Like, even if the numbers feel good, like, I don't know, bro. Let's see what are they saying right now. But they remember right. It says
fuck Elon. That's what I'll say. Fuck Elon. That guy.
Yeah, fuck Elon.
He's been.
He literally went to Israel and kowtowed to Netanyahu like a little cuck.
He is
and
hardcore suppressing Assange stuff right now. Hardcore. Stefania Marizzi, one of the best journalists working on planet Earth today, is hardcore shadow banned. She's been in like a years-long FOIA battle with different countries. She is hardcore shadow banned. Hardcore. Pisses me off. And hey, shout out to all the 9 Inch Nails fans in the chat. I see you. Yesterday
I'm asking you guys, like, do you guys think that's real? That 500 viewers? I don't think it's real, bro. I think Twitter would be lying about these fucking viewers, bro. Either way, if you're real watching on X, hope you enjoy the show. Great to have Misty on. Next time you guys see me with Nick and CJ on Monday. I think that's all I have for now. I'm working on some guests for next week, Nick and Night as well. Misty, any last words before we wrap up? Any last final?
Nope. Thanks for letting me rant. I appreciate it. Always a good time.
As always, my honorary RBN sister, Comrade Misty. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good weekend. I'm about to go Comic-Con. See you.